Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be taking you through some movements to build strength in the hips and pelvic area. That will include the buttocks, the glutes. We'll be moving through some lunges, some squats, and then some stretches. This workout is just something brief that you can integrate into your daily routine if you only have a little bit of time. So grab your dumbbells and let's meet on the mat. Okay, so let's get started with a brief warm-up. Have your hand weights nearby so that we can integrate them into the flow easily. And we'll just start with a little warm-up for the body. So starting in your standing position, bring your feet to hip distance apart and let's just start to move. So bringing the arms up, all the way up overhead, lift your chest, bend your knees here, and separate your arms. Hold the space between the arms, lift your heart center, and take a big breath here. As you exhale, keep the bend to your knees and start to hinge forward and down. Bring the arms down, keep the knees bent here, and just allow for the spine to settle into the forward bend. Take 2 more breaths here. And 1 more. On your next breath, start to walk your arms around your mat or around your feet, reaching the arms away from you and just allowing for the space to just open up with the breath and these soft reaches away from your body. Take 1 more breath here. And then start to find your center. Bend your knees deeply again and rise up. Reach your arms up overhead and then separate your arms. Bring the arms down beside your hips. And let's just open up the shoulders and torso here. Bring your arms up overhead and we'll go into swimmer's arms. So we'll take the right arm back first and then the left. And the right, and I'm moving really slowly here so I can allow for my torso to twist, my hips to twist with the shoulders as well. So take your time, keep reaching the arms up and back, moving nice and fluidly. We'll do 1 more round on each arm, reaching back, and then find your center with the palms beside your hips. Now we'll go in the opposite direction, starting with the right arm reaching back. The left arm can go forward, and then we just reach up and go forward, and the left arm goes back and up and forward, and we do that same slow swimmer's movement. Slowing this down so you can feel your center column getting a nice twist and rotation. And then bring it back into your center and hold your standing position. From here, we'll just start to awaken all of the muscles in the center of the column here, your core. I want you to slightly engage the core here so you're slightly tilting in the pelvis toward the belly button. Feel the lower abdominals working here to hold you in place. Start to push down into the heels and into your toes. Become active in your legs and start to lift through the crown of your head. Imagine someone pulling you up through the top of the head. Take 2 breaths here, standing nice and strong. And 1 more. Next round, reach your arms all the way up. As you do that, bend your knees, open your arms wide, keep your knees bent, go all the way forward and down. We're back to our forward bend here. Now, let's start to bring the awareness into the backs of the legs a little bit more. You're welcome to place your hands on the elbows or down on your mat or on your legs, wherever feels comfortable. Keep the knees at a little bend to start. Let the body start to adjust, and then maybe you're starting to deepen the stretch a little bit. Try to avoid locking the knee, but certainly lengthening through the back of your leg a little bit more. Take 1 more breath here. And let's again release the hands, bend the knees, and rise up. Take a nice stretch, open up, and release. Good. We just got one more stretch here before we start to integrate the lunges. So just taking the balance into the left leg, palms to the hips. Let's just take our right knee over toward the left a little bit and then over to the right and down. And we'll just do that again on the other side. So the left knee comes up, goes over to the right to start, over to the left, and bring it down. And we'll do that 2 more rounds. Right knee goes across to the left, sweep it over to the right and bring the leg down. Left leg goes over to the right, sweep it over and lower. And we'll do that 1 more time on the right side. Bring it up across and down, and 1 more on the left. And open and bring it down. All right, here we go. Let's integrate some of the lunge movements. We'll start with no weight at all, and then we'll add on the weight. Okay, so we're starting with a curtsy squat, or pardon me, a curtsy lunge, and that's going to work the thighs and buttocks. You'll feel it right away. So starting with your feet at hip distance apart, we'll bring our right foot behind the left leg. So I like to keep my hands right at chest center. You may want to keep them at the hips. So here we go. We step the right foot behind, bring it behind, and then we just lunge down without touching the right knee to the mat. Step it back to starting position. Left leg behind, lunge down, bring it back. And that's our movement, okay? Here we go to the right and forward, left leg and forward, right and forward and left. Bring it forward. Good. Going right, step forward, step the left leg back and forward. We've got 3 more. Step it right, center, and switch. Center. 2 more rounds. Starting to feel this a little now. And 1 more. Good. Bring it into your center. We will just simply jump here to keep our heart rate nice and high. And we just start with little jumps. If it's been a while since you've jumped, move slow here. Just little kind of hops, if you will. If you're familiar with jumping, start to really hop around on your mat. And I'll do this sometimes for 2 minutes, sometimes 1 minute, and we're just going to keep it nice and brief and do it for 30 seconds, okay? So just a little starter to get those jumps in our bodies. And I like to move around the mat. It's really good for your joints to bounce around, good for the lymphatic system. Okay, let's start to bring this down. We're going into a little kick movement. So keep your feet at hip distance apart, palms to the hips, right heel to the glutes, then the left, right and left. And that's the movement. 1, 2, we're doing 10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so those kicks, we're going to do it a little faster with a little hopping or running movement really, or you can do it exactly as we just did. Okay, so if you're kind of hopping, it's quite fast. So here we go. It's right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. We're doing 20. So I'm going to count us back. Here we go. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it down. We are marching this out. Slow march. Just crossing over one leg to the elbow. And it's just a nice slow crossover, slow lift. We're counting back 5 each side. 4, 3, 2, and last round. Good. Keeping our heart rate up a little bit. Let's get back to this curtsy lunges. This round, if you want to integrate your hand weights, you can, or just go back to where we were with no weights. So grab your weights if you're going to integrate them, and come onto your mat, feet hip distance apart. Okay, and we're just going to keep our hands beside the hips. A little bit of engagement here with the arms. All right, here we go. Step the right foot behind. Lunge, come to center, and switch. Good. We're doing 10. Step it back. 9. 8. 7. 6 more rounds. 5. Try to keep that spine tall. Keep going through. 4 more here. Last 3. 2 more. Last one. Bring it into your center. Now, use your weights or just use your arms in fist movement. We're just doing bicep curls. When you're ready, here we go, bicep curls, bring them in. Slowly lower down. Again, control the way down. Try not to swing the weight into your body. Just nice and controlled. Maybe hugging your arms a little bit towards your ribs. Starting to feel nice and warm now. Doesn't take long to get the body nice and heated, working, getting a little sweat on. We are last 5 here. Nice and controlled. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Good. Releasing your weights. We'll just place the weights off to the side. We're going right on into a movement for the inner thighs. We'll go into our squat movement here. Nice and wide sumo squat is where we're going. So the sumo squat is quite a wide stance, at least hip distance and a half. Okay, so give yourself some space. Now, from here, the toes are turned outward and the heels turned in. Our objective is to keep the spine nice and long. Try to bring your heart center forward instead of collapsing through the chest. Okay, so here we go. Let's bring it down and squeeze as you come up. Thrust a little bit. Squeeze the back side, bring the hips forward. Here we go again. Come down, chest is forward, and squeeze. All right, we're doing 10 more. 9. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last round. Whew, good. Next round, just bring your feet in a little bit here. We're just going to kind of march out the legs a little, give those knees a little relief. And then we're going into a yoga squat. So similar position, heels are now hip distance apart, toes are turned out. Start to lower down and get down as low as you can and start with your heels raised. Bring your hands out in front to support you. And then once you've got the position, So you can have your fingertips down or you can have flat hands. My heels are raised and I always have to make a little adjustment to get into this deep squat. Now this is the stretch here. So when you're ready, start to shift your weight back using the hands to kind of keep you anchored. Let the heels come down a little bit. Once you get a stretch, settle into it. Tuck your chin in. Take another full breath. And then shift your weight forward. Now you're going to take weight into the hands. Let your knees come forward. Let your heels naturally lift. And we're pushing into the hands here. And then come back. Shift your weight slowly. And then let your heels maybe come down a little bit closer. If you're able to make contact, continue to let your tailbone tuck under. Let your head fall between the arms and the legs. Take another breath here. Lovely stretch for the backside and hips. Next round, we go forward. Now just start to bring your hands a little closer to you, and we simply rise up to standing. Hinge forward, find your forward bend, let the knees have a bend to them, stretching through the backs of the legs and hips, and also through the spine. Take one more here. Bend your knees and rise up. Take a stretch at the top. Open your arms, lift your chest, and release to your standing position. Take a couple of cleansing breaths here. One more. Okay, we're going back to the sumo squat. If you want to add weight, you can, or have no weight at all, okay? So I'm going to bring in my dumbbells, and I'm just going to keep them at my chest center, okay? So we're going for 10 this time if you're adding the weight. If you're not and you want to do 12, you can do that as well, okay? So get your stance, heels about hip distance and a half apart, toes turned out, tall through the spine. And here we go. 1, 2, nice and controlled, no rush. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, last 2, and one more. Good. Release your weights, step your feet towards one another, and just place the weights off to the side. We're going back to our little jumping movement. We're going to do 45 seconds this round. Give it all you got, because we're going to wrap up this workout now, okay? So here we go. Just start to jump. Shake off any energy you need to get rid of. Have a little fun with it. Different movements, right? Challenge your body. Surprise it. And I like to get a little crazy with it. Keep going here. Trying to change up your movements. A little more dynamic, crossovers. And you can go longer, of course, in your cardio. Just press pause on the video and then come back to me. Okay, almost there. All right, let's start to bring this down. We are literally kind of skipping the feet forward with the opposite arm. Slow down your heart rate. And this one's really good because we're still working the hips. You're working your hip flexors here. And a little bit of your quads. And by crossing over, we're also working that core. Slowing down now. Whew. I'm a little sweaty. I hope you are too. Okay, last movement here. All right, let's bring this to center. We're going back to the same swimmer's movements we started our practice with. Feet are hip distance apart. Right arm goes forward and back, then the left. And we switch, and we just keep moving in the swimmer's arms. Nice rotations here. And then next round, come into your center, and let's go in the opposite direction to start. So take the right arm back to start, and then go forward with the movement. Left side, then right. Really slow it down. Feel that rotation through your hips and your torso as you go forward with the arms. We'll do one more movement each side, and then come into your center. Let's flow this down onto the mat in a seated position. Bend your knees, take your arms up, and forward bend. Take your time here. Hold the forward bend. Again, a little bit of a bend to the knees. Hold your position. Take a couple of big breaths. One more. All right, let's bring this down onto the knees. And we'll move through cow-cat flow. So palms are under the shoulders, knees hip distance apart. Begin to tilt your pelvis toward the back of your mat and draw your chest and heart center forward. Inhale the breath here, big inhalation. And as you exhale, tilt your pelvis into the belly button. Rounding the spine all the way up. Tuck your chin into the chest. We'll do it one more time. Come back into your cow. And find your cat. Good. Next round, stabilize in your table. Next round, we'll stretch out the side body here. Let's take the right toes off the mat. Step the left foot back on the inside of the left foot. Press down into your right hand and lift your left arm up toward the ceiling. Start to take your eyes up toward the left hand. Feel a nice active pose here. And then let's go into the stretch, dropping your head toward the right shoulder. Reach your left arm forward. Oh, and you just feel this most beautiful stretch coming into the left side of the body. And let's come up toward the ceiling with the left arm. Push into your right arm. Lift with your left arm. Shift your weight into the right arm and lift your left leg. And we come back to the hips. We come back to that lateral movement here, working the outside of the left hip area. And then slowly come down. Good. Let's bring it back around. And we'll do this on the other side. Left toes off the mat. Step your right foot back, inside of the right foot on the mat, and our right arm comes up toward the ceiling. Now, you can stay here, or we'll go deeper into the stretch by letting the left ear go to the left shoulder, and the right arm reaches forward. Now let's raise the right arm up. Lift through the right arm. Push into your left. Shift your weight into the left arm and raise your right leg. And again, we're working the outside of that hip area, right? Working the buttocks, working those glutes. Okay, let's slowly lower the leg down, come around, find your table. Now, next round, we're going right on into stretch here for the hips and the thighs. So start to open your knees, bring your big toes together, and we'll go into an active child's pose. Pushing your hips back, pushing your hands into the mat. You may want to walk your hands forward. Just find that compression in your hips, and then just start to move your hips a tiny bit here. And just that little movement, you'll feel it going all the way into the hip flexors, maybe the lower spine as well. Good, let's bring this forward. Bring your knees again at hip distance apart. Keep your hips high here. Get a nice slope to your spine. As you go down to your forearms, relax your body down. We're going into passive puppy pose. If your head can reach the mat, awesome. If not, just rest the head maybe on stacked hands. You can separate your elbows if that feels better, or you can just keep your head a little bit elevated. Breathe here. Take 2 more breaths. And 1 more. And let's start to slowly come around. And we're going right on to the seat, bringing your feet forward, bent knee position. Now let's go on to the back. We will stretch out the hips a little bit better here on the spine. So coming into your supine position, keep your feet at hip distance apart here with bent knees. Cross your right ankle to your left knee. And you may stay here if you're already feeling the stretch on that right hip and buttocks, or lift your left foot off of the mat. Stay here or reach your hands to the left thigh and come back down with your shoulders, head and neck, deepening the stretch. Ooh, this one feels really good after that work we were doing. And having strong hips really is the key to balance in your body. Take 2 more here. And last round. Slowly release your left foot to the mat. Bring your right foot down and cross over your left foot to your right knee. Again, stay here or add on by lifting your right foot or bringing the hands to the right leg and coming back down onto the mat. Breathe it out here. Let your breath just flow naturally. You may want to take some bigger breaths. Take 2 more breaths. And 1 more here. Releasing your right foot down to the mat. Bring your left foot down and let's just open the legs into a diamond shape. You can place your palms on your hips or on the floor if you like. Just opening up here, let the legs have this nice stretch, the hips. If you're feeling this deeply in your knees, try to come away from the pose a little bit. If this is very, very deep for you, you can do 1 leg at a time. So bring 1 foot back down to the mat and open up 1 leg at a time. And I will sometimes do that even though I have some space in the hip area. It just feels nice. Let's start to bring this back, bringing it back to bent knees on your mat, and we'll just take 1 arm behind and roll over onto the side. Slowly begin to come up into your seated position. Now we will go into cross legs and into a spinal stretch and twist before we say goodbye. So sitting tall in your cross legs, cross your right hand over to your left knee and your left arm comes behind. Turn your chest to the left. Start here, just a little rotation to the left. If you feel okay, begin to press your hand into the leg and turn your torso a little bit more to the back of your mat. We're just 1 more here. This is a slow release to center, and we cross over left hand to the right knee, right arm back. First breath, it is a soft rotation to the right. See how your spine and hips respond. And then if it's okay, adding on, slowly turning a little bit deeper. One more here. Bring it around into your center position. And let's just shoulder roll the arms, come up and back a couple of rounds. And forward. When you go forward, round your spine, bring the arms out, and we try to stretch the muscles in the upper back. Good, coming into your seated position, let's just clean out the breath, a couple of big exhalations. So big inhalation in through your nose, big exhalation through your mouth. We're doing it 2 rounds. Here we go. Inhale, big release. One more time, inhale. And a big release. Thank you for sharing your time with me. I hope you enjoyed your practice.